One of the biggest tools that you will be using as an officer of your student organization is the community platform. Community is used for requesting events, keeping your roster, storing important documents, and meeting check-ins. Meeting and event check-ins is now a required function of student organizations. We will go over how to set up kiosks later in this training, but it's important for you to know that this function must be followed if you are to have events on campus. Failure to maintain attendance will result in suspension of activities. There are two ways to access the student portal for community. The first is by going to Go PFW and clicking on the Student Life tab. There's a box at the top of the screen that says Community Student Portal. When you click on this link, it will automatically log you in since you've entered your university credentials at the beginning of the Go PFW page. The second way to access the portal is by going to the Student Life and Leadership webpage and clicking on Student Organizations. This will bring you to both the Student Access and the Advisor Access. Advisors, this is where you will go to log into Community. Students, you will click on the Student Login. This screen will require you to enter your PFW credentials to access Community. It's also important to know that all students, not just officers, have access to Community to see when events for all organizations, not just yours, are happening on campus. This is also a good tool to train your members on so that they can stay up to date on what campus events are going on, both within your organization and other departments on campus, like those that are offered through Student Life and Leadership, Housing, Career Services, and many others. When you log into Community and select your group name, you will be brought to your organization's management page. While there are many options in here, we are primarily going to focus on the four in this diagram. The first is Events. This will display both a calendar view or a list view of all of the events that are taking place on campus. The second, Manage Events. This is where you're going to go to schedule and to reserve space. Members is where your roster is located. You're going to go in here to add new members or to remove old members from your roster. Documents is where you can store important information such as waivers, notes. It's also going to be where you're going to find your constitution and the student organization handbook. All activities or events need to be submitted into Community. They should include setting up a kiosk so that you can check in students either by using a swiper or an email address. While this is a mandatory requirement for all events, as we discussed earlier, this information can also be useful as you're making funding requests. I'm going to go over how to set up an event with a kiosk along with some of the basic functions of your student organization. Another thing that is important is to make sure that you're keeping your organization's roster up to date. In this video, I'm going to go over how to set up a student organization event. You're going to click on Student Life, the box that says Community Student Portal. This is your home screen. If you click on Student Groups, this will bring you to your student organization. Down below to list any student organizations you belong to. Go ahead and click on your student group name. In this next section, it'll have all of the different options in the menu. We're going to go and click on Manage Events. If you have any events that you've clicked on, it'll be listed here. We're going to go ahead and click on a new event, and then you'll just click on Continue. Here's where you're going to enter the details of your event. Go ahead and type the type of event that you're going to do. If you have a virtual event going on, we just added an option for that. You'll then type in the title. For this one, I'm just going to do the officer training. When entering the date information, if you have an event that's going on because you're using a kiosk, I would recommend setting it maybe an hour to 30 minutes before the time that you intend to start it in case people show up a little bit early. If you have any additional dates that you're going to do, you can select that. You can do address, you can type in the address, or you can use a select location. We've preloaded all of the different rooms on campus, so you can go ahead and type that in there. If it's in a virtual option, just type in virtual and it'll bring up that option for you. Also, make sure your organization is listed under host display. If you want to co-host it, you can add a host. Type in your information. You're also going to want to set up a backup location. So go ahead and select your first location that you entered and then do your backup locations. One thing that you're going to want to make sure that you do is check the special events website to make sure that those locations are available. We're going to go ahead and do that now. I always just type in PFW special events into the Google search and it pulls it right up. Click on the orange box for event calendar. Here's the event calendar. You can view for about a 3-day period. I think you can push 4 days with this as well. So you'll go ahead and you'll type in the dates, search up the information, and this is going to let you know what is available in those rooms. You can narrow the search down. If it's rooms in other buildings other than WALB, go ahead and just type the information into your request in community, and Gail will go ahead and make a request with the register. So in here, when I search for WALB, this tells me what rooms are available during that date search that I'm doing. Obviously, there wasn't a lot going on during this month. So I'm now going to know what is available and what I can select. You're not going to make any requests on the special events page. We will do that for you. If you did make a request through this page, special events is automatically going to reject it, and they're going to contact us asking why you guys are submitting requests that way. So you want to make sure that you're reaching out to us through community. That's the best way to make sure that things are moving along quickly. Don't have your advisor go out and do it. It adds a lot of complications when we start doing that. So you're going to go ahead and just continue filling out the information on community. If you need some tables, how many tables you need, how many chairs you need. With social distancing, those are some factors that you do need to take into consideration if you're going to have events on campus. There is a limitation on a lot of the rooms that we have. Depending on if you have community members present, that's also going to impact it. Go ahead and put the description of your event. And if you have multiple dates, go ahead and put those in there as well. Some rooms do have a limitation on or a minimum requirement for rooms. In a normal semester, that would need to be adhered to. Because of social distancing, those numbers are a little bit off. So we're going to go ahead and select all of this information. If you have co-sponsors, if you're going to have food at your events. Again, please refer to the COVID-19 policies for food. If you have documents that you need to submit, such as waivers, you're going to want to go ahead and click on the Add Documents. If you save it, it'll save it, but you want to hit the Submit button when you do these. So this is where you're going to set up a kiosk. Under it just has the registration information. You're not going to collect or put registration, but you're going to go ahead and you're going to click on that button. and select the simple RSVP. It will be open to everybody. No approval is required for anyone. Keep 0 for the capacity unless you do want to have a cap on that. And then you'll go ahead and continue again. You'll notice it says no kiosks are found, so we're going to go ahead and set up a kiosk. So this will be the web address that you're going to go to for your kiosk. I suggest doing your organization name and then putting like the date or something. Just keep it unique because there are several others on campus that are using this software. So if you're just doing the date, chances are it's going to be taken by someone if there's multiple events on that same day. So maybe an acronym for your org name, whatever it might be. Kiosk location, you can leave that blank. Password, this is just going to be a password that you want to set up for it. Keep it easy to remember. That way you can go ahead and access it. So mine was just training for that one. I always select allow without limits. That way it doesn't cause any errors within community unless there is something that you're specifically setting up for it. So we're going to go ahead and submit and review. And down below, now it's going to have the kiosk. When you go into your event, you can actually go and view your event and select that kiosk, like I just clicked on, and then enter your password. And this will allow you to have full access to the kiosk to sign people in. So you're either going to enter their email address. We recommend not collecting the student IDs just because of FERPA laws. That's something that shouldn't be collected from students. But you can go ahead and enter their email address, or if you have a swiper or one of the tablets, you can just swipe them in and it'll put that information in there for them. And then you're going to go ahead and submit request event. And that information is going to be sent to Gail, our executive assistant, and she's going to review everything. I will review things depending on what type of request it is, and then we will go ahead and select or speak with special events to reserve the rooms and the spaces that you need for these.